Good morning. Charlie says good morning too. It is mid-May and the sun is rising, and you may notice the plants have been relocated. I have taken my plants and I have relocated them onto this side of the yard. I have my shade liking or appreciating plants over there, and most of my prairie species plants here in this bed. And the reason I did that is because a couple of reasons. It's been really dry. We were kind of in the middle of a drought right now, and where they were sitting right over there when I initially put them there, I thought they would be getting full sun, but the maple tree has leafed out and the wisteria has leafed out, and that's meant it's kind of actually provided that corner where I had my plants with more shade than I was expecting. And additionally, now that the wisteria has leafed out, it was also impacting how much water some of the pots were getting. And because we're already in the middle of a drought, I was finding myself needing to water plants and like relocate pots a lot to make sure they had access to rain. So that's why I moved things over here. And in the process, I realized I had a lot more pots than I thought I did. So basically today one of the things I'm going to be doing is accounting for that drought, is setting up a drip system. Like I said, I was dragging a hose all around that side, and I don't think I was watering things evenly or in ways that they liked. And yeah, I just want to be able to supplement the very small amount of rain we've been getting. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna I purchased some supplies and I'm gonna walk through how to set that up. Yeah. Okay, so I think I previously mentioned how I got my hose brought back around this way so it could reach those more easily. And now I have my drip supplies laid out. Some of the stuff I already had from a little drip tape vegetable garden system I had set up, and some of this I just bought new. So the stuff I already had was this black, I don't know if this is 1 inch or 3/4 inch tubing. This is the main solid line that carries water to where you want it to go. So I had that. The other thing I also had is this pressure reducer. Basically, a lot of the fittings for drip systems are just compression fittings. And so if you don't reduce the pressure coming out of your spigot, the pressure is too much for the drip system often. It can blow all those compression fittings right off. So, oops, jeez. So this is a really key component. And I think I got these things here from Drip Depot online. I think I might have already mentioned. Anyway, so I'm just going to reutilize this stuff. And then these things are things I got new. This is a filter with a adapter to pop on this hose. So basically, the filter that goes into the hose, this connects here, and then this pops into this hose. And this filter, let me see if I could unscrew it. Hold on. Okay, so this filter, basically what it is it's just this really nice fine mesh, and that will catch any debris that comes through the city water line and stop it before it gets trapped in your actual drip line. These drip emitters can clog if you don't have a filter to catch any of that stuff that comes through. So pressure reducer, filter, then transfers water to the black drip line, and then you use these fittings to connect the smaller 1/4 inch line. This is drip 1/4 inch, so every 6 inches it has a little drip emitter like this. You can see another one right there. And then this is solid 1/4 inch line. And the way I'm going to try to set this up is in my small pots. I'm going to try to have the final bit be these drip heads. These will just slowly release, I think it's 1 gallon a minute of a drip, or 1 gallon an hour. What is this? 1 gallon per hour. So this is the drip head. this will plug in to the end of the solid drip line. And then these are tees, and what I plan to do with these tees is make little loops of this drip line and have the loops circle the larger pots. So that will make more sense as I set it up. And then these are little connector pieces, which basically you jam the sharp pointy end of these into this solid drip line, and then once you have the pointy end, you can just compression fit the black hose right over the end, and that allows you to split off the small 1/4 inch line from the main line. Hopefully this will make more sense as I set it up, but those are my components, and here we go. Okay, so I've been mixing up 4-hole emitter and 3-hole. This is going to be a 3-hole. We have 1, 2, 3. Here's the T, and that just there we go. I kind of twist it and push, twist, push, twist, push, twist, push, and you want to make sure it gets all the way on. So I've got a little bit further to go on this side. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I bring the other end, just jam that on there. There we go. Looks pretty good. And there we have created a little loop. So there's my 3 emitter loops and my 4 emitter loops for 3-gallon pots and my 2-gallon pots. Let's see. There we go. All right. Just about there. Okay, so I got the loops laid in all the large size pots. And I even did those over there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black solid line and run a length that covers these pots and extends and does some sort of loop around these pots. Alright, so I took my black tubing. I've made sure it has enough to reach around. Like, this will connect into the hose later. Right now I'm just laying it out. So it reaches here, and it comes down along here, and it basically snakes through these pots, wraps around the back here, and continues off this way. And now what I will do is I will come in and I will take my solid 1/4 inch line and I will plug in off of this main line and access a little emitter to each of these pots. Either I'll tie into the loops or I'll just drop a single emitter into the pots. So I wanted enough length so that about half the pots could be over here, and like this front half could tie into this length that comes in circles around this way. So I'm wanting to optimize to reduce the length of 1/4 inch line that each of these comes off of. So here's a 1-gallon pot that I just transplanted some Oregon Sunshine into. I just jammed in, let's see if it will focus. I just jammed in this emitter tip into the hose, and now I can see roughly how much hose, 1/4 inch hose, I need to connect to the main line. So I'll measure out a length, I'll cut it off, and then I'll take one of these connectors here, take one of these connectors, one end jams onto the 1/4 inch and one end jams into the black line. And there's a little tool for that, I'll show that in just a minute. Okay, so this is the little tool. This is basically used just to punch a hole into this main line here. So we have that. And then this barb, I think I was showing, this has a right way and a wrong way. The pointy end, you could see, if I can, you could see it's got these through holes on the side. That's to let water flow into there. This is the emitter end. So this is going to go into the main line, the big tubing, and this is going to plug into the quarter inch line this way. And that's going to help regulate the direction and flow of the water. So let's see if I can do this with holding the phone as it currently is. Basically you just basically give it a good jam. There you go. You just punch it in. It takes a little bit of force. And you pull it out. Now you have your hole. Take the pointy end and you shove that into the main line. Takes a bit of force. I might have to find something to help me grip this as I push it in. Oh, actually, I think, if I'm remembering right, I think this little thing, you just pop it in the end, and then you could use that to help push it in. Almost forgot about that. So, oops, I dropped it. Pop it in there, pop it in here, and you give it a good press. And you'll feel it kind of pop in. There you go, snapped in. Perfect. Now we take this end of the line, we just shove that on. Again, take some elbow grease.
Hey little man, time to take your little grunts inside.
Alright, and now this end goes into the pot over here. The process for connecting the loop to the main 1/4 inch solid line was basically the same. I just jammed, oops, focus. I just jammed, anyway, I just jammed the end into there. Then I'll cut off this line and I'll stick it into the main line just the same as I did the other one. Alright, I have hooked up all these pots to the main line here. And now I'm at the end of the line and I need to cap the line. And they sell different kinds of caps. There's some that basically kink the hose and then hold it in a kinked position and that prevents water from going through. But I'm going to actually use this cap. This basically, you jam it on. It's like a compression fitting where this slides into the hose. You jam it on and then you fit it all the way down into this gap in between the compression. And then when this, so I guess I just opened it, but basically you put this on so the compression fitting comes down over that neck, and then you tighten it on and that holds it on, and then this just has like a little like hose end cap on the end, and so that will cap off the flow at the end of the long run. So here we go. Alright, just got that screwed on all the way. That's holding really fast, and that's screwed on all the way. The line is now capped. Well, I quickly realized that spot got full sun for longer than I thought it did. So the plants I had over there, I've relocated here. I think some of them might still get too much sun, but I'm not going to hook up this section yet. I'm going to monitor the light over the next few days and kind of see how much sun, how much shade these get, because I want these guys to stay happy until they're in the ground, which is not going to be until the fall. So yeah, so I'm kind of leaving this incomplete right now. Once I monitor this a little longer, then I'll come and I'll finish hooking that up once I know the placement, because I have to keep the placement relatively stable once I run the 1/4 inch to them. So we'll see. That's all for now. Okay, so after a day I kind of did just a little bit of adjustment to the placement of these plants. I'm feeling pretty good about where they are now. So I went ahead and I hooked up this last bit. So this was the hose. This was an adapter that just helped adapt. Had a screw thread, so later on this could be screwed in and out. But this adapter just jams its compression fitting on both sides. That just locks the two together. Here's my filter. Here's my pressure regulator. And just about to give everything a turn and do an initial test. So I still haven't hooked these up here yet. I'm mostly gonna check those, and also have some staples to lock in the individual emitters. So let's give it a shot. I also kind of modified my setup here on this end so I could have the drip system and additional hoses. So I turn that on nice and open. Next I turn this on. All right. Can hear the water coming through, making its way through the kinks. Oh, flushing out of here. Looks like this will need to be tightened, but it's coming through here pretty well. Can hear the water flushing out of the line. Things are dripping there. This little emitter looks like it's dripping. This one is at the very end, and that looks like that's dripping. And water come out of here, out of there. Sounds like it's still working out some air. But I'm hearing water coming out. Seems to be working. I'll have to go tighten that last little bit and let things equalize. Cool. One other component of my drip system that I wanted to mention is that I purchased one of these. This is a Beehive. This is Bluetooth, but it connects also inside to a Wi-Fi hub, and I'll show that next. This is the Wi-Fi bridge that connects the Bluetooth unit outside to my Wi-Fi system here inside. And I purchased these. They came together in a little kit, and they talk to each other and allow me to control the sprinkler through Wi-Fi. So this Beehive system, basically this unit acts as a timer, and it just basically controls the flow on as like an on-off switch. So this water is on, this little split is on, and this is controlled through Wi-Fi. You could schedule it, you could turn it on to do smart watering, which will take into account, you know, gray skies and you know, when you get rain or wind, and it can delay watering with those things in effect. And you can also just set up a system to control manually. And as I was saying, for this whole system, I have it set up to deliver supplemental water for when these don't get much in the way of rain. And real quickly, I want to give a little update about blooms, because the dwarf checker mallow is this stuff right here, this pink, and over there the lighter pink. So that is in bloom, and my Oregon geranium had its first flower open up, so that's pretty exciting. All the transplanted Oregon sunshine has taken, so this is where things are going to be living to get some sun, to get some rain, and to hopefully be a little bit more hands-off. What is it, Charlie? Oh, you leave it? There's a little snake. What do you think? Stay? Oh, it's just a little guy. It's a little snaky. Charlie, leave it, leave it, leave it. Good boy. Come here. Ready to go inside? Yeah, I know. It's okay. All done. Charlie? All done. Hey, little snaky. Aren't you pretty? Cute. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's cool to see you. I like having snakes in my garden. They eat the slugs. And they're so pretty. I always feel excited when we get a snake in the garden. How beautiful.